Hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm going to present a web application that's heavily based on free and open software for geospatial. And this platform in particular is focused on the teaching in basic education and urban planning. So the agenda for my presentation I divided into 4 parts. First, I'll briefly introduce myself. Next, I will share about the context and the motivation behind to develop this platform. And then I will dive a little bit in the platform, show a live demo of how it works, and I will show what's next for MAPi in the final slides. So a little bit about myself. I'm a developer at the Center for Metropolitan Studies. It's hosted in University of São Paulo. I focus on the development of well-web platforms. So I use libraries like OpenLayers and GeoNode. Currently, I'm a master's student in education at Federal University of Minas Gerais. And I also hold a bachelor degree in information systems and social science. So kind of diverse background, but I think this platform, for example, creates a connection between them. So a little bit about the context that MAPi was developed. It was, as I said, under this Center of Metropolitan Studies, which is a research center focused on inequality and public policy studies. So we have this structure in SEM, as we call it. So we have the research team, researchers do studies about inequality and public policies. We also have a diffusion department. It's like a sort of press office that got visibility about the research that is made in the institute. And we have a so-called transfer department. It's where I work. And we are responsible for producing and openly sharing cartographic and non-cartographic databases. We've been doing this, not me, but the team and the institute for about 20 years from now. And we are committed to provide free access to this data, and also we develop interactive systems to make it smoother, so you can analyze to see this data and extract the data about the research that it's done in the institute. So usually these databases and systems are having policymakers and researchers in mind. These are some examples of the tools that we have available, and it's open. You can go to the website and just see the data and extract what you want for it. So we have, until some time ago, only policymakers and researchers in mind, but an event that took place 4 years ago changed our perspective to the audience that we were developing these tools. And this was COVID. So the outbreak of COVID-19 in 2020 as a worldwide pandemic imposed a lot of challenges to almost every sector of society. And we can argue that one of the most affected sectors was education, and mainly basic education, when we have younger people that need more dedication and are not used to remote learning. So this was like the view we had worldwide. We had school closures. with very little advance notice, if any at all. In Brazil, we have was not an exception to that, even though our national government was not really up to these health measures. Our local authorities demanded school closure, so we had suspension of on-site classes, and an obvious question arose from that. Are children able to continue learning during school closures? How can they do that? How teachers can still teach without the schools? So what we saw in response to this question was basically resilience. And even without the proper training, we witnessed teachers using the most creative ways, and especially digital tools, to teaching remotely. And despite the lack of resources and the mental struggle they were facing. And what we discovered at the time, that the same tools that we designed for researchers and policymakers were being used by teachers in basic schools, even though we didn't intend this kind of use in the first place. So this came to our attention not in the best way. One of our interactive systems was offline, so we got an anxious call from a teacher asking should we go to make it live again. After all, he was using for a class activity. We went okay, we got back online, but we realized that we could do more for education. We could design properly, structure properly education tools for teachers. But this was a question because at the center, at the institute, we don't have this expertise. So this was a question that we was wondering how we could structure our set of tools to support pedagogical activities on basic education. So the first project, the first action that we did, and was like after the school closures, when we had more a safety to go back on site classes. So we created this project. It's called Educação. So we went to on-site of schools to learn how school actually work in reality, beside the research, produce the knowledge, and answer ways that we could support SEM, how SEM could support their work there. Also, we tried to create teaching materials specifically for using SEM's tool to teach about the research that we're making, basically focusing on geography and sociology. But we knew that a single digital tool could be we saw that it would be the best and the most effective way to bridge this gap between complex sets of data and non-academic public. We also found the need that this platform, this tool, could receive quick and easy updates because our tools didn't have this capability before. So it was basically this, our mission in the schools pointed the need for us of a simple and intuitive tool that could provide easy access to spatial data sets and ways to analyzing its data. So the flow was basically this: learning on site of schools, understanding how was the schoolwork on the ground, and developing materials, specific materials, so teaching materials, and getting requirements, understanding requirements of what should a digital tool should have to help, actually help teachers to teach. So we came to this final, kind of final diagram that wraps it up. The three functionalities of axis of functionalities that we have in MAPi, and the two main objectives that we are aiming to provide. So basically, we are doing this platform to be a support tool to territorial planning, urban planning, and teaching, as I said. So we have the mapping X of features. So mapping, we want to provide for non-technical users a tool to map and qualify urban equipment. So you can map a local park that is not available, for example, in Google Maps or something. Or to post a geotagged photograph of a problem with the sidewalk, and you can discuss this between your peers in school as a class activity or in a civil society community. Visualization, so basically a set of functionality that make it possible to see easily geospatial data, and so getting the location of urban equipment, like public schools, through an interactive map. In analysis, it's go a little bit beyond providing the location of things, but to actually provide a way to analyze the geospatial data by creating different type of choropleth maps. So therefore, we came back to this phrase that I defined MAPi. So it's an open platform, so you can visualize, analyze, and collect geospatial data. And it's specially designed for basic education and urban planning. And in practice, what we see is this. I'm going to try to run a quick demo to show how we want to support these activities. So 1 second, so I can set up here. Okay. So here is the main page of MAPi. It's the platform. We have two. We want to be a simple, intuitive tool, as I said. So we have basically one basic comments here in the menu, in the bottom. And we have in the left the main menu, so you can create the choropleth maps, as I said. So first is just you select a set of data layer. So you can select, for example, I'm going to show you the distribution of the black population in São Paulo City. So I can get the census, the 2010 census of São Paulo City, for São Paulo City. And here I can see it plotted. So I can represent a variable of this data layer. So first I go to the menu, a symbology menu. I select the data layer. I can control the data layer visibility, and I can select which attribute of the data layer I want to plot and to show, represent in my choropleth map. I will select black population, and I already can see it here plotted in my map. We have some parameters. Panel, I can talk about it later. It's for multiple layers. I can play a little bit with the parameters of editing of the choropleth map, so I can change the data classification type. It's quantile, the first one, and the other one is Jenks, is optimization algorithm. I can change the number of classes, the number of clusters I have in my map, change the scheme and the palette color, so I can go diverge, qualitative, and sequential. It's based on the Cynthia Brewer user color guides. You may know this. And we have also a dynamic legend, so you can, for example, select an attribute that represents the name of the territory, and when you hover on a polygon, you can see it showing in the upper right of the map. And you can also show the values of other variables of the data layer here. And that is that. So I can have a preview, a view of the data in São Paulo, showing the concentration of the black population. We can see black population in São Paulo are concentrated in the outskirts of the city. And if we can do more, we can create a comparable map, so you can, for example, compare to the distribution of wealth in the city. So I can select once again the census layer. I can move it around to change the order, and I can plot this attribute for my choropleth map. I select the income. This is a variable for income in minimum wage. So I can see here it's plotted in the same up to the previous layer, but you can see that we can see anything even if I change the color. So in panel, I can say to MAPi show in the right side, and I can play a little bit with showing how both phenomena are correlated. So you can see that the wealth by income is concentrated in the expanded center of the city, but we see that it's like a negative correlation when we see the black population distribution. So where black people live, it's less. We have less income wage. We have less wealth, and it's a kind of analysis students and teachers can make to discuss segregation, for example, in the city they are living in. So, as you could see, we were heavily inspired by much more sophisticated tools. One is Kepler that I actually used in one of our animation in school. It was really well, but it's a complex tool, and we want to kind of simplify the whole thing they have with editing choropleth maps. The same thing with Geoda, QGIS, and we are also inspired by one of our tools that is resolution, but we have fixed data sets here, and we want to do something more flexible, and we could update easier and quickly. So to get MAPi up, we have, as I said, depends on open software or geospatial. First, we use a geospatial repository that is called GeoSen. It's not public yet, despite we use it, but it's linked and it's the main source of the data layers. Actually, it's the only source, despite OpenSearchMap, as we use as the base map. and was developed by my colleague Hans, and it's powered by GeoNode and GeoServer. So how this connects to education, right? So we have as one of the main features in MAPi is, as I showed, is the creating and editing of choropleth path maps, which is one of the possibilities of thematic mapping. And this feature is part of both visualization and analysis axis that I showed before. So both serving territorial planning and teaching. We focus here on MAPi being a teaching tool because to properly show, to create and use correctly a choropleth map, we need to have solid knowledge from two fields that we learn, or at least we should learn at school. That is geography and math. They are essential to read the choropleth map, and even more to create one to not mislead to wrong evidence. So with MAPi, we want to support cartographic literacy, that even if it's an essential form of representation in the field of geography, in Brazil we still have a very important bottleneck in the teaching of the subject, in the training of teachers. So this also reflects in the classrooms. And math is key to read the data. So to read the data that is shown, it's kind of thematic mapping, but also indispensable when creating one. We can create or read properly a choropleth map without understanding how a change in the data classification, as I played in the demo, leads to bad interpretation. So we know that statistics can play people when you show with kind of some parameters to mislead to interpretations. So we can only know the data classification, possibilities, and how you can do it wrong with basic knowledge of descriptive statistics. So to create an editing of the choropleth maps in MAPi, we use GeoSim, which is run through GeoNode and GeoServer, and we depend more in MAPi side of open layers and OpenStreetMap as the base map. So on the other hand, we have a mapping, right? It's the title of this talk. In mapping features, which consists of the features to provide the users to create their own spatial data and ways to visualize it. So far, we only have the street level photos taken by the user. This is available through MapPillary. They had a talk here earlier. So we see this also supporting the objectives of territorial planning and teaching. So we see mapping being a very interesting tool to provide participatory power to civil society by generating data that is not collected by the official authorities and are not available in the public records. So the idea is that this kind of data that comes from the community can complement the official data, and we can create evidence, more robust evidence for public policies. In MAPi we see as the schools having a great potential to be a catalyst of participatory urban planning. Because the schools is one of the most available facilities, urban equipment in the cities. So we have a very great distribution of these facilities through the cities. But also, as we know, schools are a place where different people, different individuals go to get knowledge from different backgrounds, different families. And by doing that, they create a local community that is built through the years, on and on. And we have this kind of community that can create something for themselves, right? So spatial thinking, as I said, is a way of learning math and geography, is a way of approaching math and geography together. And in recent years, it's not like recent years, but it's a growing discussion. It's a very old term. We have here, it's education territories. It's like a way of seeing the city, the territories as teaching agents, and how, for example, the path from home to school can be a place where you can learn things. So you can see the city in a critical way, and you can question and learn how can things be different. So it's basically knowing that the area, for example, around the school. I don't know what happened here. Okay. So the surrounding of the school, the area surrounding the school can be components of the school curriculum and places where teaching activities can take action. So both of these tools, we see MAPi supporting these activities, providing tools to social participation and stimulating active citizenship. So it can be a point of start of discussions and to lead to influence policies, public policies, based on communities' demands. So I didn't show in the demo, I think I don't have time to, but we have mapillary integration. We show the coverage of mapillary in the same map, and you can show the photos. We have the visualization too. They have a very, very good API. And to finally close, what is next? So we have, gratefully, we are coming together with another project that is GeoRedos. And we came together with Redus, which is represented here by Simon. You can raise your hand so you can see, all the people can see. But it's a really, really, really good project, and we are coming together to create sort of environment software where we can do these things together and expand the features that we have in both platforms. It's a very similar, we have very similar goals, so we are creating an environment for that. So the next steps are to create a comprehensive collaborative mapping module, including many more features, internalize the data collection and improving how we can analyze it, provide tools to analyze it, and we want to improve spatial and data visualization, especially for bigger data sets. So one more way we are moving this direction in implementing WebGL plus vector tile. We want to also create connected charts, so you can hover over a polygon, and we can see how the point is in the chart. So you can see how for example, a region is positioned in a data distribution graph. And we also see the very usual need to provide trainings and materials, because even though we wanted to create a very simple, intuitive tool, it's still complex, and we are still getting more people teachers especially, to use it. So finally, just to acknowledge FAPESP was the founded. It's the São Paulo agent that funded this research. And same in the person of my boss, Mariana Gianotti. I hope she's seeing it. Just kidding, but she was a big supporter of the project, still is, and coordinated the whole thing. And that's it. Hope you check MAPi. You can try in your phone, and you can reach me to give your feedback. And that's it. Thank you.